Hello friends, I'm Timur and you're watching the Nastolki live channel. Today I have for you an overview of the rules of this little game from the Crowd Games publisher. By the way, its author is our compatriot Maxim Istomin and it's called Windmill Cozy Stories. Let's see what it is. The little box is filled to the brim. Inside it we will find 25 small and 25 large cards, a windmill card, a scoring board, 5-player markers for point scoring and a first player token. As usual, let's prepare the game. Setup. Lay out 25 small cards in the center of the table in a 5x5 grid. Shuffle and place next to the small cards a deck of large cards and put the windmill card next to it. Each player chooses a color and places corresponding marker on a space 0 of the point track. Determine the first player and the game begins. Gameplay. During the game, players will tell stories based on the drawn card. In addition, the rest of the players will try to guess this card in order to get victory points. At the end of a certain number of rounds, the player with the most victory points will win. Therefore, each round consists of as many turns as there are participants in the game. That is, each player will take one turn before the round ends. Step 1. The story. On one's turn, the active player becomes the storyteller and takes one large card from the deck so that no one else can see it. Now, the player's task is to come up with a short story based on the illustration on the card. After telling the story, the player places the card face down in front of oneself. Now it's time for other players to try and guess it. Step 2. Guessing. Once the storyteller has finished the story, each other player tries to guess the active player's card, starting with the player to the left and moving clockwise. Note that every large card in the deck has its small counterpart on the table. Having decided on the answer, the player takes a small card and places it in front of oneself. If the guess is correct, the storyteller reveals the large card and both players earn victory points. If the guess is wrong, the chance to guess goes to next player. This happens until someone guesses the storyteller's card or all players make one attempt at guessing the card. Step 3. Earning points. There is a little trick in getting victory points. They are received as follows. Only the storyteller and the player who guessed the card earn points. However, the number of points depends on which player guessed it. For example, if the player sitting at the left of the storyteller guessed the card, in other words the very first one, then both players earn 1 point. If the third player from the storyteller guessed the card, then both earn 3 points. If no one guessed the card, the storyteller loses 1 victory point. The windmill card. On one's turn of guessing, the player can use the windmill card to earn additional victory points and take them away from the storyteller. Before making a guess, the player places the windmill card in front of oneself. Now, if the player guesses the storyteller's card, he or she will earn 1 additional victory point. In this case, the storyteller, alas, will receive nothing. However, if the player takes the windmill and doesn't guess right, then he or she immediately loses 1 point. It is important that participants who don't have victory points yet cannot use the windmill card. End of the round. After the victory points have been received, return all small cards to the center of the table. Shuffle the large card back into the deck. It can be drawn next round. Pass the first player token clockwise and you can start the next turn. Once each player tells one story, the participants will move on to the next round. End of the game. When the players have played 3 rounds for 3 to 4 players or 2 rounds for 5 players, the game ends. The player with the most victory points wins. Conclusion. The Windmill is a very compact family storytelling game with a couple of interesting gameplay solutions. As expected of a game of this genre, it has beautiful, fabulous illustrations. Moreover, the quality of the components is excellent. Thank you for watching our video. We would be happy if you like it and subscribe to our channel. And be sure to play different games.